Hi everybody, this is Matt. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Well, this video was inspired by my daughter as we were walking through a big box sporting goods store and she saw some bolt action 22 rifles and she said, "Dad, what's the purpose of these things anymore?" And I looked at her and I'm like, "Honey, what are you talking about? A 22 bolt action rifle is a perfect way to learn how to shoot and to shoot accurately." And so after that, a long conversation ensued, but hence the reason for this video. Now, what do I have in my hands here? I have a 22 and it's a pump action. Now this happened to belong to my father. This rifle is close to 100 years old. And for all I know, this could have belonged to my grandfather. This is a Remington and it is called a Model 12. It has an octagon barrel on it. And the beautiful thing about this firearm is it can shoot a variety of ammunition. It can shoot 22 short, 22 long, if you can find 22 long cartridges today, and the ubiquitous 22 long rifle. So this makes it a perfect learning tool for the basics of marksmanship. And like I told my daughter, with the bolt action 22s, the reason that, in my opinion, they're so good for learning how to shoot is because you have to be very deliberative and you have to slow down the shooting process because it takes time to load that cartridge and then it gives you time to evaluate your accuracy and everything. And too many times today we have, semi-automatics all over the place. So it's easy for somebody just to get a little bit trigger happy and they go to the range and they go pew, 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 and by that time they're already out of ammo. Well, if you have a bolt action, it takes longer to load that thing. And you can slow down and you can concentrate on the fundamentals of accuracy. The fundamentals have never, ever changed. So, speaking of never ever changing, that's this rifle. This rifle came just like this when my father got a hold of it. It actually came standard with this thing here, which is called a peep sight. The peep sight helps alignment in your iron sights. Well, this was a standard feature with the Remington Model 12. Fundamentals of marksmanship, they don't change. So if you're going to shoot this thing, you're going to have to learn how to go ahead and line up those iron sights and holding it steady, getting the proper sight alignment is crucial to anything. But the great thing is about this, it takes time to go ahead and cycle through and take a shot. So as an example, let's say that you just fired a shot. You pull this back, the spent round, the cartridge is ejected this way, and then you do that and it rechambers it. This is a tubular fed magazine, hence the little cutout there. You basically push in on this detent, pull this tube up, and you load them in through that port. That opens up right there. And then put this back down in, chamber around, you're good to go. These guns make perfect trainers. Plus, this thing has been used for hunting for decades, literally, and it still functions today. It is still accurate. You can go back in my videos a few years and you'll actually see me doing an Annie Oakley shot with this. And on the very first shot, yeah, we got it. So, beautiful gun, great to learn on. This is how I learned how to shoot a 22, and I cannot stress enough the basics of fundamentals. Iron sights, they're very important. Today we can get all kinds of electronic doodads and gizmos and whatchamahoozits and everything else, but electronics fail. Batteries go bad. If you happen to drop something like this and it's got a scope on it, guess what? The glass on the scope can go tink and then that's the end of the day. But the fundamentals of marksmanship just never, ever, ever, ever change. The only thing that I have to do with this firearm that is different than any other firearm that I own is because of its age, the bluing has pretty much completely been obliterated. And for those of you that don't know what bluing is, when these guns were originally manufactured, they were dipped into a vat of a very hot material that, for lack of a better term, created a fancy kind of rust. And it resulted in a deep blue finish on a firearm such as this. Well, after about a century and this thing actually getting used, the bluing is gone. So what I have to do is at least every 6 months, this comes out of the safe and I clean it, because if I don't clean it, I get rust on the surface. And this gun has too much history for me to let it rust, even in a safe. And I'm not going to do that. And the majority of times, this is stored in a silicone sock to help to inhibit rust all that much more. But I love this firearm. This goes to the range with me quite often, and it is still a joy to shoot. Now, is it kind of heavy? Sure it is. I would imagine that this probably weighs about 7-8 pounds. So it is heavy. Now, it's not as heavy as that M1 Garand that you see sitting there on top of the safe, but I like old firearms. I really do. And this is a good way for people to learn. And one of the things that I just absolutely love today is seeing the amount of young people that are getting involved in trap shooting teams. There's a lot of high school youth out there, and especially in my area, that are involved in trap shooting. And that is just so awesome to see happen, because back in the day when I got into competitive trap shooting, we didn't have youth leagues. It was me basically against a bunch of older guys. And thankfully I found a couple of fellas that were mentors to me that helped me in that sport. But today, to see so many youth and parents active in stuff like that, that is just absolutely awesome. Anyway, just wanted to share this with you. Hope that this helps. Hope it gives you a little bit of encouragement. And until next time, thanks for watching, everybody. And everybody take care. And of course, have a good one. And what else? Be safe out there.